Dublin's F4. It is the Strawberry Alarm Clock, and we can now zoom into the home of a man. And I think this is appropriate date, the date we're recording this on, because it is a mirror date, the 22nd of Feb, 2202, 2022.
Wow.
Who better to ask about this date and what it means, or does it mean nothing, than Derren Brown? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. What's just happened then is yesterday I was signing a legal document, which I had to do a bunch of paperwork yesterday, and I've just realised I signed everything on the wrong date because I was doing that yesterday, 222, thinking, wow, God, and as you've just made me realise, no, that's today. So I've signed everything wrongly yesterday. So that's what that date means to me.
That means you're off for everything you signed yesterday. It doesn't count.
I hope so.
The bank, you don't owe them anything.
Thank you for having me. My studies, I've just realised that there's a dead mouse somewhere in the room I am. It absolutely stinks of dead mouse, this room. It's not nice. No one wants to hear that. But yeah, apologies.
So this,
if you're getting any of it.
This date and the dead mouse, they've no significance, do they, Derren? Can you confirm that this is not... Is this a mirror date? Any of these things in your world, do you think that that's a thing, or is that just another?
I don't think it's a thing, but it's fun.
It's fun.
It's not the mouse. The mouse isn't fun. The mouse has no significance. I've tried to find it. It's going to drive me mad because it sticks around for ages. I thought it's horrible, but no. I think the date is well, it's either the end of the world or it's meaningless. I'd give you both those options. Just to cover myself.
If it was the end of the world and you had to come back as a rodent, which rodent?
Not this one. This one is not doing too well.
Can we send a cat? Is there a cat we could get to join you there?
A cat would be good. I don't know if the dogs would like the cat.
Okay.
There'd be a whole circle of life. I think it's horrible. It's horrible.
Is it just the one mouse?
I think so. I don't know. I need to have a proper look. Can you tell by the smell?
I found little sort of mouse skeletons before, but there wasn't such a bad smell.
I found a mouse skeleton the other day, mummified behind it. We moved to the country a few months ago, and we're discovering all these sort of country ways. Like, your oil runs out. You didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know oil. I never really got my head around oil. So oil runs out, and you find mummified rodents. It was quite a good, decent sized mouse. I don't think that's a different mouse, though, not the one in this room. Mummified behind the stove. I feel I'm wasting your time with talks of
you're not.
Rodents and bad smells.
You can get away from that smell when you come to Dublin, and you're going to perform your show Showman at the.
My clothes may still smell. Yes.
At the Gaiety.
At the Gaiety, beautiful venue.
I can't wait.
For 4 nights, and
I know this is in April. Yeah, it's very exciting. Dublin's one of those cities, and I can't speak for Derry, London Derry, because I haven't played there before. But Dublin, certainly Belfast as well, are proper tour highlights. There's a little scattering of cities on probably any performance tour that really leap out. So yeah, really, really looking forward. And they're quite early on in the tour. They are in April, so I'm getting a bit spoiled. This is an 8-month tour. It's the longest one I've ever done and probably ever will do.
Why is Dublin one of the highlights, Derren? Is the crowd are really up for it? Is it?
It's all, well, it's the city, it's the crowd, it's the crack, and it's also the theatre. Like it's like a whole universe of things that comes together when you're in a theatre that holds the sound really well. Like that makes a big difference. You can have an amazing audience, but if you can't hear them from the stage, like that, it doesn't really reach you. But it's a phenomenal crowd in a phenomenal place, theatre in a phenomenal city, and I think it's like a bright, lively crowd as well in both places. Like again, I can't speak for Derry, I can only imagine, but Dublin and Belfast, from my experience, and what makes a difference, I think, are cities that have a really strong identity and like generations and generations that have grown up there. Because there's plenty of places that don't have that. They're like a catchment area, and people come in from different areas, and there's none of that sense of like community or sense of, come on, show us what you've got. And it changes that kind of audience energy thing a lot. So I just, I love it. I really, really can't wait. And they're both just extraordinary places. Most of my time is spent, kind of in coffee shops or mooching around town. And so again, it makes a real difference where you are. So it's pretty cool.
The last time we spoke to you was 2016, and it was here in this studio. And after the interview, we felt like you'd been to therapy. You felt like you'd spoken to someone who's thought about the world, and you touched on the only two things you can be in control of are your thoughts, your actions. And I just think after the last couple of years, people are more anxious than ever. Do you find that? I mean, everything you said, whatever it was, six years ago, is still very relevant now, if not more.
Yeah, and anxiety is a strange thing, because we end up, on the one hand, only trying to control the things that we are in control of, our thoughts and our actions, and allowing all the rest of it to be fine, because we can't control it, we can't change it anyway. And I think that is helpful. It's a stoic move, but at the same time, we can end up, just demonizing the idea of anxiety. And I think it has a role to play. It's something we can also let sit. You don't change your job until the first one makes you feel bad, or you don't change your relationship without feeling bad about the first one. Also, you don't cross the road when you're young on your own without letting go of your mum's hand or something. So you have to have a process of anxiety as part of the process of growth. And weirdly, this show, Showman, was written and was about to go out before the very first lockdown kicked in England. We were about to start it up that week. And it was a show about how the things in life that make us feel anxious, and when life just doesn't go well and life's difficult, it tends to feel quite isolating, like alienating, or like we've done something wrong. But actually, like, those are the places that life inevitably takes us to from time to time. We're just experiencing the actual weight of life. It's the one thing that connects us to everybody. Like, it's the weight of just being human, and you can sort of feel it a little differently and see it as a point of connection rather than alienation. So this show is about that. And then lockdown happens, which is this literal play out of that. We are physically isolated from each other, and at the same time all sharing in this thing. So one, silver lining of the last couple of years was we sort of had a couple of years to think about this. I say we, like me and the two guys that I write the show with, to think about that and sort of draw more from that and bring that into what the show now is. It's unusual to have that amount of time to think about it, and I think it's worked well. I think the show has started off in a much better shape than any of the previous ones have. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying this one, I think, more than any of the others, and it's the response to it has been amazing. Also, has been over and above the response to the previous shows. So I am really properly excited about doing this. I've had a couple of months, like a very short tour with it last year, and now this is the big stretch.
You're such an expert on trickery, and there's so many documentaries knocking around at the moment about confidence tricksters and psychological tricks. And when's the last time you got tricked by somebody who didn't know what you do for a living? Like, it's like, or do you spot it a mile off?
Good question. I don't feel I've been scammed. I'm always getting nearly caught out by the cheap email and text scams and so on. I get that a lot. But no, and I fall for magic tricks all the time. I'll often see, like, particularly Penn and Teller, the American duo. My jaw will just drop, and it's weird because you can be fooled by stuff you actually know how it's done, but at the time, like when somebody, because occasionally other magicians like to go, oh, it was this is how it was done, and you realize, oh God, I knew that. But at the time, if a magic trick is done well, it should kind of take you to a place where you're not really trying to figure it out, and you can completely get fooled by stuff that weirdly you knew. So I love it. I love that thing of getting fooled. I probably am quite prone to sort of not the charlatans, but kind of sales techniques and stuff like that. I'm probably a lot weaker-willed than people would like to might like to think. I'm too eager to be liked, like I'm eager to please, and that often kind of gets you into trouble, because sometimes you need to be rude in order to kind of step back from it. So yeah, I'm probably not quite stony-willed as people might imagine.
So if you went into a Porsche dealership to kick some tires, it might be an expensive day out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. If only I drove, but I don't.
Well, all the best people have chauffeurs. So
You said last time
And housekeepers.
that you loved. There's a couple of coffee spots that you were very fond of in Dublin. Is there anywhere in particular that you're going to hit up while you're here again?
Oh God, it's been years. It's been years since I was there, so I can't. I honestly can't remember. But the moment I'm there, I mean, they're all saved on my phone. I look, and over the 20 years of touring, well, probably not 20 years of having the Maps app on my phone, but I've highlighted all these places that I love. So when I turn up, I open up my phone, and there ahead of me is all these, great coffee spots. So yeah, I will find them again. Belfast is excellent for food. I remember some great lunches there. Great for photography as well. I do a lot of street photography, and it's just amazing for that. There's the Winding Stair, isn't there, in Dublin? Yes. That's great. That is great. You should spend a lot of time there. So really nice rhythm. You get to sort of sit and do that during the days and think and write and have your time exactly as you want it. And then I get to go out and be this, well-rehearsed, charismatic version of myself in the evening. I get to do that day after day after day. It's just, it's brilliant. And if you don't like a place, you're somewhere else the next week.
Despite being so well known, I presume a hat or a cap or whatever, you can kind of just slip in amongst everybody and you're left alone. Is that?
And a face mask. I mean, there's like none of me left. Just two pupils walking through.
Well, the show is called Showman, and it is in the Gaiety Theatre from the 12th to the 16th of April. Derren, it's been great to talk to you again.
Oh, very nice. Thank you so much for having me back.
No problem. Enjoy the show.
Give Rent-A-Kill a call after this interview. Maybe.
I'm straight on the phone. Bye.
Cheers, man.